We're kind of going to get a little more granular. We were talking about the risk tolerance and investment strategy overall, but what about what kinds of investments you should have for a healthier retirement? Well, I think it's important to point out that investments are like tools in a toolbox. We use this analogy in a client meeting room often, that if an advisor anywhere has the same types of licenses that we have here at Gen Wealth, the toolbox is the toolbox, right? It's not a matter of what's in the toolbox. There's not a secret investment that we're not telling you about, right?
And we're only using it on our portfolio.
Exactly.
Right?
We're only, yes, we get that occasionally too, right? What are you doing? Well, I'm 49. I'm not 65. So that's different too. But the toolbox is the toolbox, but we don't want to pull out a hammer when you need a screwdriver. And that's the first thing we should set up here.
Yeah, my grandfather was an electrician. And he did all kinds. I mean, you name it, this guy did it. He was actually at the company that put the first radio inside of a tractor. So like that kind of like he's got some weird stuff in his history, you know. Anyway, my point is on tools. He was a firm believer that every tool has a purpose and every job needs its certain set of tools. And if you don't have it, you stop the job that you're doing and you go and buy whatever tool it is to meet that need. Now, what that meant for us is after he passed away, there were things around there that we went, what is this? And nobody could identify it, but he knew. But here's the deal. When you bring that into your retirement needs, you think about all the things that he had that we had never heard of, all of these tools that we're like, I don't even know what that does. But he did, and there was a need for it, and he had a point in time when he needed that and nothing else would do. So your advisors know about investment tools, if you will, investment products that you've never heard of, or even if you have heard of them, maybe you have a misperception and not a real picture of what they really do and what they're intended to do. We don't believe that any tool, any investment vehicle is good or bad. It depends on what your need is. A hammer is not a bad thing if you need to put a nail into something. A hammer is a bad thing if, I don't know, you need to rake your leaves. This is not going to be an effective tool.
But another point to make on that same kind of thought process is your dad had some skill level that he had honed over time. So, put that hammer in the hands of a carpenter, and its application is very different than if you put it in mine. That is very specific. So when you're thinking about planning for retirement, having somebody who has trained specifically in retirement income planning is different than just someone who has some licensing too.
Want more content like this delivered to your inbox weekly? Visit fastest4.com to learn more.